Hey guys, as we've talked about today during this time of like craziness, the pandemic and all that, we are without a lot of the resources that we would have at Kutztown. But as we've also talked about today, artists can adapt to any situation, and that's what our lesson is about. That's what we're trying to teach to all the kids. So to relate that to my situation, I, as you all know, am a very avid printmaker. And you could imagine how that could be difficult for me without a press, without access to the acid baths, just without the space in the printmaking studio. So I have done some research and I have figured out ways of doing printmaking at home without a press, without the acid baths, and all the equipment at Kutztown. What I'm going to be demonstrating today is how to do a trace monotype. For those who don't know, a monotype is a type of printmaking that you get one singular impression. It's a very unique type of printmaking that's very closely related to painting. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a trace monotype. Okay, so these are the materials that you're going to need to do a trace monotype. First and foremost, what this white sheet here is a piece of acrylic. You can also use a piece of plastic, or you can use a pan of glass, or just anything you can roll ink onto. So right here I have a brayer. I have rolled out printmaking ink, or you could also use oil paint. I have 2 sheets of paper. I have drawing utensils like markers, pencils, and pens. I have tape. And for cleanup, I have vegetable oil, and you can use either Windex or you can use simple green, and also some rags. So what you're gonna need to do is take the piece of paper that you're going to be printing on and trace it. Measure it out and trace the outside of the paper. And then what you're gonna do next is you're gonna go about 1 inch in from that border. So you have a nice clean about 1 inch, 2 inch border. And then you will put a piece of tape along that border to keep it clean. So what you'll do then is you will take your brayer, roll it in your ink, and then roll it into that square. You're gonna wanna cover it really nice, really deep. You're looking for a nice solid black in this. Get all the way along the edges. Make sure you are recharging your brayer in your ink or oil paint. All right. That looks pretty good. So once you have it all rolled out, you can then take your tape off. The purpose of the tape is so you get that really nice, clean edge. So you have really nice, clean borders. And see right there, you got a fingerprint. You can take a rag and just clean up your borders. All right, so then you're ready for your sheet of paper. You take your piece of paper that you're going to be printing on and place it right on top inside of your border lines. And then you are going to be taking your tape and you will be taping your piece of paper in place. Right now, you want to make sure not to touch the inside where that ink is, because that will get onto your piece of paper. But you want to tape it down so it doesn't move. So then you take your second sheet of paper, which I have drawn out where the ink is going to be, and I line it up with my lines, making sure not to touch this inside where the ink is. And then you take a little bit more tape and you tape that down so that one doesn't move either. So to make a trace monotype is very simple. You take your pen, pencil, marker, or really anything, and you just draw on this second sheet of paper. So you got a smiley face right there. And you can experiment with different materials. Like the pencil is a little bit softer than a pen. And you could do broad areas. You can do really fine hatching. And you can try with different pressures. Like right here, I am pressing really hard. That's like medium pressure right there. And that's really soft pressure right there. Also take your marker. See what that does. If the student was going to be doing this, I would want them to experiment with different materials and different ways of mark making. You can even take the cap and just make some marks. Or, even beyond that, just take your finger. rub it into the ink. See what happens. So then you got a bunch of marks down. You do your whole drawing right here. And you can also, on the second sheet of paper, you can sketch something out before you tape it down, and then you can trace your lines on top of that. You can also do that with a photo as well. So once you have your marks down, carefully take your tape, peel it off. And then what you can do is you can either like peel it up, check, and then put it back down. But I'm done here, so I can take the second piece of tape off because I'm not putting it back down, I'm not checking it. And then you peel it up, and you have your marks. And you can see, this is where I did the pencil in different gradients. You can get different values in different gradients. It's not the cleanest and most precise way of printmaking, but you get some really interesting gritty textures, and it can be really fascinating to see what students come up with. And you can even see here where I press down with my finger, and here, like I didn't do anything right there. That's just because the paper sat on top of that area. There's going to be most likely some marks like this that you didn't intend, but that's kind of the beauty with trace monotypes, because there's just some ambiguity and things you don't know that's going to happen. So we're going to set this aside. So when you're done doing these trace monotypes, what you can do to clean up, super easy. There's no solvents or anything. Just take your vegetable oil. If it's an oil-based ink, you can use oil to clean it up. If you're using a water-based thing like acrylic or a water-based ink, you can use water. But since this is oil, just swoosh that around, make sure you clean it up. Really good. And then take your Windex or Simple Green, and there you go. And then just repeat that process with your brayer and your ink slab. So that is how you make a trace monotype. Really simple, really easy. It is a way that I have found out to do printmaking at home without a press with the materials I have lying around. Hope you guys learned something. Have a great day.